And sometimes there's no self-regulation in a slightly older child. They're regulating, but it's like a, I don't know, maybe a Model T with a bad alternator, you know, a bad carburetor or something. It's all over the place. It's like having no governor on your car. So really, regulation about children and adolescents starts with us, our ability to do that. And it starts with structure and supervision. So let's get together in switch groups if you'd like, or whatever. Boring. No extras. In fact, when you said all that your kid had to do between the clubs and the activities, and that's quite a lot for a 12-year-old. You know, it's possible to be overscheduled. There's too much going on. It looks fun. It looks fun. Wonderful. Cheerleading, teams, soccer. Well, it looks fun, but it may be overstimulating. And they're not going to tell, you know what, I think the cheerleading thing is a little too much for me. I need to have a boundary here. You know, they're not going to tell you that, but they're telling you that. This is too much. Well, they're telling you, especially, I can't do my homework. I have no time. I don't have any homework. They're really telling you, oh, gee whiz. Then what I need to do is create a schedule in which you have plenty of time to do your homework. So you'll get every night to do your homework. Take your time. I'm not going to grade it. Right? They're really, you know, the older you are, the more stuff you ought to do. Laundry. The 12-year-old ought to be able to do laundry. And all kinds of stuff. Now, can they do laundry today? No. But that doesn't mean I take away the extra. Oh, so you won't do it, you can't do it, and so I'm just going to take that off the list. Now, that's still your expectation. We'll work toward it. I'll keep helping you. Privileges, simple and achievable. Especially when you're trying to build the window of tolerance a little higher, make the reward achievable. You know, so I'm not waiting till Friday to get something. I can get a little something every day. You know, if you're good all week, I'll take you to Chuck E. Cheese on Friday. A kid who's dysregulated can't wait till Friday for Chuck E. Cheese, right? And maybe Chuck E. Cheese is not going to work. You know, so you think, well, if you're able to regulate yourself from up and down today, we'll do a little something. You know, maybe get some pudding tonight. You know, just a little something that motivates that you can wait for. Because one of those slides I was showing earlier was about, you know, it's a basic trust, causal thinking, ability to delay gratification. Our kids don't have the ability to delay gratification. They can't wait for anything. I need it now! I need it now! 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 Now what drives that? And then food hoarding and all the rest of it. Yeah, what drives that? I need it now. Huh?
Fear.
Oh yes. Fear of what?
Not having that. If you don't get it now, I might not get it later either.
Great. Great.
It's nice their child is finally verbal enough to ask if we need it all.
Miss in this lesson, right? I have to figure out what that is. So if a kid isn't learning to meet expectations, then I haven't taught enough. I'm not done. I have more teaching to do. I have more interventions to do if they still can't get it.
But I think punishment is where thinking that children have to suffer in order to learn.
Oh,
And
that's
that's not really true. They can learn in a positive way.
So it's taking away these privileges, because then I'm punishing my child. So like when she, you know, it's so hard to, when I said,
Embrace it.
When it's more important to you than it is to them, they
Right.
know it.
but you know what, and I've done that, and now what's happening is all her, like her social circle of friends,
And I think you already said this before. And that is, in that moment, it's helpful to have the capacity. And reflection doesn't mean what's happening with the child. It's what's happening with me. So in that moment that the child is becoming dysregulated or whatever's happening, the skill is, how am I? well enough, physically well enough, psychologically well enough, rested enough to intervene? Or do I need to call for help? Maybe on this tantrum, I won't intervene because I don't feel up to it. I'll just let it happen and be right here. I'm not going to do a lot. Or maybe I feel well enough that I am going to intervene with this tantrum by doing this. This is doing. Does this look like doing? What you gonna do? I'm doing it. Right, does that make sense? Well, what you gonna do about the tantrum? You just gonna let him go off like that? I'm doing it. Does that make sense?
Just watch and make sure they don't hurt themselves.
Remove the projectiles and the sharpies. Yeah. And then relate, and that's what I'm talking about. Wow. You're very upset. You seem very upset, angry with your friend, don't want to do your homework. You don't want to clean your room. You're relating. Now you're with me. For those of you who are partners, does your spouse ever come home, that boss of mine, hate his guts, somebody should fire him, I'm going to quit this job, gave me 5 more cases, or loaded me with 2 more reports.